I haven't made a video for smallballsuccess.com in several weeks, and especially I think several months since I've made one about pitching. Part of that is because I'm just old and my heels, especially not my knee or my back or so much my arm, but really I feel it in my heels for some reason. I got bone spurs, I guess, but it's really hard for me to really practice these things, and I never want to present anything to you that I haven't rehearsed very thoroughly myself. So I'm really trying to piece something good together before I make another pitch. I wanted, at this point, it's mid-October 2019, baseball season everywhere is winding down, and I want to kind of give you the state-of-the-art thought that I'm having about pitching for a smaller, broader body type. This is a really good time of year to be thinking about that now that you're not playing ball, unless you're doing fall ball. But you don't really want to start trying to learn a new technique during baseball season. You want to have plenty of room ahead of time to try something out new. Now, I'm holding here canvas that I never used from my old oil painting days, because this is, think of this as a plane. And I'm just going to do a discussion here to try to explain the principle upon which I'm operating. It seems to me, and I have never heard a pitching coach explain it just this way, but it seems to me that the most successful way to throw any pitch is to get all of the members of your body that are moving forward going in the same plane to the extent that you can. Now, we think of the classic pitching motion as, of course, you're coming overhand, you're going to rock back a little bit, and then you're going to come at the plate, and you really, if you try to come from 12 o'clock directly overhand, you're going to do a lot of things that aren't very successful, such as bow your back and fall off toward first base. You can get overhand that way, but it's going to end up, you're talking about a Tim Lincecum sort of motion. It's probably going to end up hurting your shoulder, your back, and you're not going to have very good accuracy. And Paul Reddick has talked about this quite extensively and convincingly on his website, so I'm not going to gainsay anything that he says. But, unless you're a cricket bowler, it's very hard to come from straight over the top. If you can take that running start, then maybe you can do it. But we have the pitch off the rubber. We're starting from a stationary position. So most of us are probably going to come from about 11 o'clock. And that way we can step straight toward the plate. But you notice even that, I can step pretty much right at the plate with the bottom part of my body, but already my arm is kind of following a different plane. My arm is going like this, and my lower body is going more like this. So anything that I can do, I don't think I can probably ever have everything going in a single plane, but anything that I can try to do to bring that plane closer together is going to be good. I was thinking about a wheel on a cart that has two horses attached to it, and one of the horses on the distant side from the wheel is much stronger and pulling much harder than the other horse. So the cart wheel is trying to rotate this way, but it's also being pulled out because our Clydesdale over here is just pulling too hard. And if you do that with any kind of machine where you have complex motion, one of the vectors is going this way and one of them is going this way, well, the wheel's eventually going to work loose and fall off, and your arm might just fall off too if you have too much distance between the vectors of motion. Now, we've been saying that shorter, broader body types would probably be able to tap into more power if, instead of striding toward the plate, because we don't have that long stride, and it's also with our broad shoulders, it's harder for us to get up here. We seem to like to throw more from down here. So when you do this, but you're also trying to come sidearm, it's very hard to do and very painful and probably not very helpful, very, very healthy. and probably not very helpful for hitting the strike zone either. So a lot of guys who throw from that lower angle will do what they call throwing over their body. They'll step this way, and it's almost as though they're trying to find a position where they can get the plane to move like this in the lower body as well as the upper body. And they're just using this bottom leg as a pivot so everything can flow that way. But, well, the pivot leg is obviously not pulling in the same direction. And I've been trying to think of ways that we could get that touchdown leg to be moving in this direction as well. Obviously, it's going to have to come open. And again, when you fall open, you have to work against having your back bow and your arm have too much strain on the shoulder. So how can we step open and have the arm coming almost from, say, 9:30 here? We want everything to sort of be moving like this. How can we do that and also hit the target? And, well, let me just present you quickly some ideas that I'm currently operating with. I do like the idea, as I've said before, of striding a little bit open. And I'm going to start with the hands about here, and instead of rolling back over the rubber with that leg, I'm just going to bring it up, because it's not really going toward the plate directly. It's going to fly a little bit toward the first base side. And the way I'm going to stay on target, I need to think about two things here. One of them is I need to not bring up that arm before I'm actually driving forward. I'm going to stay low, and I can use a sort of bounce on the back leg to get myself low. So I'm going to stay low, and I'm going to start driving forward, and as it were, leave this hand that has the ball behind. So that's going to keep me down and focus on the plate, and my plane is not going to be doing any kind of weird rotating. It's all working this way. The second thing that I want to do, and believe it or not, this is something that only occurred to me when I was trying to throw the other day left-handed. I love trying to take the lessons that I think I've learned right-handed and then taking them to the left side, seeing if I can replicate them. Because a lot of times I'll actually teach myself something from the left side. And I did so here. I think from the right side, because this is my strong arm, I kind of just, let the left arm go away. Get out of my way. I'm driving through with this one. But that's when I seem to pull the ball too much and I miss the target. From the left side, with this dominant arm actually leading my motion forward, I was getting that forward side more involved. And believe it or not, I was able to hit the target better from the southpaw side. So I learned that when I come from my good side, let's get that left arm more involved in going toward the plate. And that's going to sweep out the plane ahead of my pitching arm. It's all going to be going like that. Now, yeah, the leg is sort of going in the same way. It's not, the leg is moving more this way, but we can't, with the human body, put everything exactly in the same plane. But we sort of got all the horses moving in about the same way here. So we're going to not bring this foot too far back. We're going to lift it out more than back. We're going to bounce a little on the back foot, and then we're going to throw up that lead arm, that in this case the left arm, and it's going to sweep out the plane that I want my pitching arm to follow. And so far I've been having really promising results with that. I'm going to try to make a demonstration video pretty soon. One last thing, if you have, you're dropping down and you're throwing from that unusual angle that lets you use your strong core and your broad frame that so many shorter people have. And if you're doing what I just described and throwing that lead arm out, what does that do for the hitter's line of sight? That distracts him. That's one more thing, and I'm going to have a glove on, so that further blocks my hand holding the ball. I'm going to create some distraction if I'm throwing the right way, and the hitter, it's not just about true velocity, it's about perceived velocity, it's about reaction time. If I have something like that where I'm kind of confusing the hitter's eye, it's in effect going to make my pitches faster. So at least on the drawing board here, I like everything that I'm seeing. Demonstration coming soon. Look at videos of Kirby Yates on the Padres, and another guy that I noticed just in viewing these playoffs, I haven't been watching much baseball this summer, but Diego Castillo on the Tampa Bay Rays. Both of those guys do something very like what I've been talking about. They don't have the big wind up carrying the leg back over the rubber. They pretty much just stride straight to the plate and a little bit open. In fact, I'm glad that I thought of Kirby and Diego, because they do one other thing I'm going to have to try to work on. I'm not very good about this yet, but I'm going to give a kick with that left leg. That's going to really give me some extra velocity too. So if I can do something like that, and if my old heels will not collapse underneath me, I think we have a winner here. Short guys, don't despair. This is something that short reliever specialist could really, really be good at. And those guys are more and more valuable all the time in baseball.